Hey, safety tip, make sure your fingers are out of the way, all mechanical moving parts. I did not. Okay, what happened was there's a recall on these jack stands, and they had certain numbers out there. And mine was not in the two numbers that they were putting out. I was like, okay. But I stuck my finger right there. So my other hand decided to move the lever. And the finger got the blunt of that. It's like getting punched in the nose. You just don't like it. I'll just say that. I don't think I'm going to keep the fingernail. It's going to probably fall off in a week or so. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Hey, here we are. We're back in installation. What do we got next? We have harmonic balancer, rockers, and push rods, and then the valve covers. Might not do the valve covers today. When we get to that point, I'll decide. So on the harmonic balancer, you are going to need to buy, according to the book, if you go by the book, if you go by a different way of putting on a harmonic balancer, that's up to you. But this, I went by the book and it worked out. If you can, have a friend with you. It'll work out better. Anyways, let's see. You got 3 torque sequences. You got 240 foot-pounds, 37 foot-pounds, and 140 degrees. The bolt you're going to go out and have to buy or borrow from a friend, I would buy it brand new. I went to Southern Fasteners. They're right down the road, so it was came out to about $4.50, I think, with 3 washers. They're requiring a M16 by 2.0 by 122 millimeter. I went ahead and got a 130 millimeter with 3 washers, so that knocked it back down to 120. I put an extra washer on there because I looked at the book. It looked like they added a washer. So anyways, it worked out. This is the torque. This is the torque the harmonic balancer down, torque it in. So it's long enough so you don't screw up the threads as you torque, as you screw the harmonic balancer in. Once you have this already screwed in to a point where this bolt won't go any further, you put on the old bolt, because you're going to torque this bad boy down to 240 foot-pounds. Now that is hard to achieve. Support your engine underneath when you're doing that, because you're putting a lot of pressure on that. And the 4 bolts holding it up in the back, they're not going to work out too well. Anyways, so you take your old harmonic bolt, you torque it to 240 foot-pounds, pull it off, you put the new one on, and you torque that to 37 foot-pounds and 140 degrees. And you should be on. I already did that because it was a mess. But it worked out. So that's already on. That's what I did. I followed the book, and it worked out, you know, in the end. So when we get to the push rods and the rockers, the bolts on there, it's 22 foot-pounds. The valve covers, it's 106 inch-pounds. So remember that, all that. What we got here is, this is called, I'm pretty sure it's just like a tray. It's a rocker, I'm going to call it a rocker guide tray. And what it sits right above where the rockers screw in, and it just goes in place like there. Now to keep that in place and, you know, from moving around and stuff, the book suggests to put a bolt down here at the end. I mean, it's not going to tighten all the way down because you have the bolt's actually too long, because you don't have the rocker in there, and the third one back. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install the push rods. Next, push rods go right there. All the holes going across. I'm just going to dip it in some braking oil. Slide them down. All right, ensure that these push rods are seated down. So we're going to push them in. And what that does is actually pushing the roller onto the camshaft in there. So you're just going to push it in. And you hear it click. Depending on the where the roller is. That should do it. All right, the rods are in. So what we're looking at is the intake valve and the exhaust valve. To start off, to put the rockers on, we need to make sure that the exhaust valve is on the downward stroke, just starting to come up. So to do that, you have to turn the crankshaft over so you feel it with your finger as it comes up. And this is really done with a buddy, you know, your battle buddy. But I do not have one available right at this moment. But it makes it much easier. But I went ahead and did that, and I'm going to go ahead and install the first rocker, and then we'll go to the then we'll put the exhaust one on. Now remember, these are 22 foot-pounds. All right, I have the rocker here. I've already lubed. It's been kind of sitting in the oil to make sure everything got lubed up. And before you install it, suggested to put assembly lube right here and here. This is for the push rod, this is for the valve. And there's two sides. There's a rounded side and then a flat side where the bolt goes in. The flat side goes up and the rounded goes down. As you can see, it just contours right there anyway. It's rounded. Just put a little bit there, a little bit there. It's going to get messy. All right, there's the first one. Remember, 22 foot-pounds. Also, what was I going to tell you? Oh, on the bolts, I put a little torque grease on there, and I put a little bit around the top of the head, just make everything smooth. All right, now that we got the intake done, let's do the exhaust. And to do that, we have to open this up, so this rocker has to come up and then start to go down. And at that point, we can go ahead and install this rocker. See if you can see it. Okay, I think it's at the top position, and see if it starts to go down. There it is. Now it's starting to go down. Now we can go ahead and do this push rod. This rocker. All right, there you go. That's just one pair. I'm gonna go ahead and do those down the line, and we'll speed it up so it don't take that long. Rollers are in, 22 foot-pounds, and when you're tightening the rockers down, make sure it's centered on the valve right here. Otherwise, it's, you know, it might be off. And also make sure it's the push rod is in the little cup on the back. before you do anything. So the rockers are in. So the next thing to put on is the valve covers. There they are. Yep, I painted them. It's to match the front plate. Now you will be able to see these. These will be, you'll definitely be able to see the paint through the coils in the harness. And you never know, I might paint those. No, I probably won't. Just kidding. Anyways, let's put these on. All right, first to go on is the passenger side. This is the spout for the oil. So that always goes on the passenger side. Or for this engine, it goes on the passenger side. Man, that looks good. It's gonna look good in the car. Like a diamond in a goat's you know what. Hey, I had a question. All right, remember I said this is the pour spout for the oil? Well, when I was taking it out, I broke it. And it has a gasket around this area. Around that area. Anyways, this is the cap. Has a gasket on it. Seems to fit fine. I don't know, what are your thoughts? Should I go ahead and buy another spout? Make it look like a truck engine? Not. But I don't know if this is going to be in the way of the coils, the harness that the coils sit on. So we'll have to wait and see. But if it works, I think I'm going to keep it this way. I want to keep everything low profile as much as possible. If I forgot to tell you, it's 106 pounds. I know I didn't forget, but 106 inch-pounds. Inch. And this torque sequence, I just, I'm sure they wanted you to go from whatever works for you. And I tried putting these all in together. It seemed disjointed, but this side I went with individually and just to get it right so you don't screw things up. But anyways, I think that's it for now. So we installed a harmonic balancer, which I did not show you. I apologize. And we did the rocker arms, the rockers and the push rods, and the valve covers. So we met our goal. And man, this is looking good. I'm just going to stand here without you guys and admire the engine. So I will talk to you next time on Alien RestoMod Garage.